We're only here, or we're needed here, only because the community really are not responsible pet owners. The animals end up here because they're not being, for one thing, confined. People are not being responsible in their care for their animals.
You know, people at shelters and rescue groups who are like, oh, people are bad because they won't spay and neuter their animals. Well, it's those same people that they're counting on to take those animals home and save them. You can't cuss the people and then say you need the people to rescue the dogs. That's not going to work either.
At some point in my rescue efforts, I had to come to the realization that a dog is better off in a shelter, and whatever their fate is undecided. But it is better than being on the streets and suffering.
The reality is, not all dogs have the same fate. Some of them were able to find a permanent home. Some find a temporary place to stay. Some end up on the side of a road. And some help along the road. Houston's East End is currently facing a high rate of animal cruelty and surrender. Someone is trying to make this stop. Gina usually starts her feeding routes by driving around the east side of Houston to find stray animals to feed them. After feeding them and getting some pictures taken, she makes sure to get them out of the streets as soon as she finds them a family. Gina does not get paid for the job, but she insists someone must do it.
Facebook friends and personal friends that run 501c3s, rescue groups, give me dog food and cat food, which allows me to feed thousands. He's next on my list, and I've been very, very fortunate. I don't take anything for granted.
Gina has been an animal advocate since her younger years. Growing up, she witnessed animal cruelty. This was a life learning experience for her, and she wants to change the fate of other dogs in a similar position.
This is a JWPB corridor, and this is where a lot of that stuff happens. Santerias, religious rituals involving animals. I've taken a lot of photographs here. Whenever I see an empty box, it's not really trash to me. It's a dead animal. A lot of them are dumped in bags or dumped with their chains still attached to their neck or in their dog houses. A lot of them live, and it depends on my timing. It's the dog food that I promised you. You're welcome. I've had to remove at least 2 dogs from here. Both were suffering, and they both lived happily ever after.
He insisted to keep one of them. She visits periodically to ensure the dog's well-being. Gina is also a member of a group called Barrio Dogs. Every 4th of July, they come together to raise awareness in Houston's East End. The attendees are informed about services that will benefit their pets at no cost. But some of them still disagree with the idea of spaying or neutering, even though it's free of charge.
And our idea is like to get into the community. We do a march to the community where we sign them up for free spay, neuter, and vaccinations if they own any pets. Barrio Dogs pays for that free of charge.
Sadly, there are not enough people willing to rescue or adopt. Dr. Michael White is the current director of the Harris Animal Shelter, and his mission is to bring down euthanasia rates.
Yeah, it's my birthday and stuff, and she saw a dog on the internet, so we're coming down to look at her.
I really had no idea that there was such a problem with stray and unwanted dogs until I came to this shelter. We take in about 80 animals every day. We only have a certain number of enclosures to keep animals, and we're always overcrowded. So when you have 80 animals coming in every day, that means 80 animals have to go out every day one way or another, hopefully through an adoption or through a transfer or transport. But unfortunately, a large number of the animals do not get out of here alive. And like I said, that's probably the worst part of working here. We try our best to hold them as long as we possibly can. Like I say, this one's been here since the 15th.
Not all heroes wear capes, but several of them have 4 paws and a tail. Sometimes when you're down, all it takes is a lick to the face. Dogs help break that cycle by providing comfort and companionship and a sense of purpose for their owners.
I ran into her at a rescue and had no idea that she would have training potential.
When she got rescued, I was looking for a new service dog because mine had just deceased. You're good. And found her online. We met and found out that her birthday is the same day as my amputation, only 5 years later. So it was kind of meant to be.
In Jessie's case, when we got her from the shelter, she was the only one being calm. All the other dogs in there were jumping and barking and yipping, and she was just being calm in there. And right when we saw her, we knew she was a good dog, and she had true potential in her.
And he was a stray, so we didn't know anything about him, breed, and he basically came like this, which was the perfect temperament for a service dog.
She's a blessing.
Yeah, we didn't just rescue her, she rescued us. She made our world bigger by increasing where we can go, what we can do, and what we can experience as a family.
Even though they were rescued, can all dogs become service animals?
I'm not disabled, but I just want to take my dog everywhere with me. Can you train it? The answer to that is no. You're required to have a disability to be able to use a service dog. That's the law. But unfortunately, dogs don't live that long. And so if people are going to spend money and time and energy training a service dog in hopes that that dog can eventually help them, they want to start with their best bet.
Some people actually have their own dogs when they come to us, and we evaluate their dogs for them. We do a 14-step test on the dogs. We test them for their aptitude and their temperament. And their ability to learn, and we judge them on whether they're the right size to be able to perform the tasks that we need. If they don't have their own dog, then we like to go to a local kill shelter to adopt dogs from there, and we perform evaluations on dogs there. And we're still searching for a dog, so it is very difficult to find the right dog from a shelter because we don't know their backgrounds at all. And we want to make sure that we have the very best possibility of success, because we don't want someone to adopt a dog, work with it, and then realize down the road that there's some issue that's going to prevent the dog from becoming a service dog.
They have to be able to handle different types of noises, different types of environments, sun, shade, air conditioning, outdoors, weird little things like air blowing when they go through a door. In the cooler section of grocery stores, there's air that kind of blows out from under the cooler. That bothers some dogs.
It takes about 6 months to a year to properly train a service dog. The owner needs to spend at least 30 hours of training in a controlled public setting so the dog can behave and not attract attention in public. Corey is a veteran of the Afghanistan War. He has a dog in training and is almost ready to get certified. Unfortunately, Lexi was very nervous during the exam and had trouble passing most of the assignments. Corey will have to keep working with Lexi along with the trainer in order to get certified.
We've got some months in, and she's absolutely not perfect, but the thing that I've learned the most is that it is not an easy process at all. It is definitely not. But we just have to keep working on it. Lexi.
Owners are responsible at all times of their dog's behavior, even during training.
You have to train them to the specific tasks, whether it be sensing when somebody's going into diabetic shock or their blood levels are low, or if a seizure is oncoming. Helps with PTSD. They can open doors, retrieve things from the refrigerator, pick up your pills and keys off the... It really depends on what you're going to need them to do. and they can be trained to do just about anything except for maybe answer the phone.
When we get to the point where she is fully trained, and that may be, you know, months or weeks from now, my goal with her is to actually increase my mobility. And so one of the things that I've been trying to do with her, you know, eventually through training is to help her get me through a crowd in a timely and safe manner.
Basically just kind of helps me with things here and there. He can pull my wheelchair, which is really nice when I'm getting tired. Goes through doors, helps me out, does all that kind of stuff. We're getting him trained for the advanced stuff, so he's still working on picking things up off the ground, pulling doors open, but he can do a few things here and there.
She's like my best friend, and I know that she's there with me, and she can protect me in my seizure. She lays right next to me or on me and keeps me safe until the EMS people come.
She wakes me from nightmares if I get overly stressed. She gets my attention, makes sure that, you know, I calm down. I can't watch sports with her because I get into the game and start yelling at the TV, and she's like, "What's wrong?" So she helps me a lot. She keeps my stress level down. I haven't had near as many nightmares since getting her, and I don't think I'd be around if it wasn't for her.
The truth is, not every dog can become a service dog. Furthermore, many will not be rescued. Dogs in general can leave a paw print in your heart. Every time you come home from a busy day, he will wag the tail no matter what.
We will find out in the end at the gates of heaven or the dark abyss. Yes, we will find out in the end who is family and who is
We need a hometown hero, someone down for the streets. Don't flow for no De Niro, the crown on his beat. That's right, I do this for zero, cause I'm down on my knees. Straight Robert De Niro, the Untouchables heat. Played Al Pacino in Godfather Part 3. Now down we go in history. No hometown hero, someone